This is a sports catastrophe special presentation brought to you by the Cutter Historical YouTube channel. Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to finish off Poker Player Season 7 and to determine who were the champs, who were the chumps, and everyone in between. Now, the problem is that, you know, something has to be fishy if I'm doing a video recording, like a intro, video intro, because the rest will be just like audio recording. Well, it's true. The simple fact is that they're having a few kind of issues within things. First issue is that PokerStars Ontario has ceased to exist. That's the website for the online games that this group had to play through. And PokerStars Ontario is now gone and got grouped into FanDuel. And apparently by June 2nd or whatever, they're going to be paying off people, like the money in people's accounts that are still there. They're going to write a check and give it to the account and the email and all that. So I don't know if I'm getting any money or not. And of course, now we have to figure out what group we're going to be doing for online poker and all that, like what site and all that. Things could be broken. You never know. And point of contention number 2 is my absence from the final table on April 25th, 2026. I know a lot of people, of course, the poker group will be watching this and to wonder what the heck was I thinking. Well, here's the thing. It was actually a strange bit of contention. Yes, I qualified for the final table, and I've never failed to qualify for the final table. I have failed to being at the final table every year. 3 years prior, there was a double booking that poker and ball hockey was on the same day and all that. Of course, I chose to do both and didn't do so well. But the fact of the matter was that I knew I qualified for the final table. I didn't really play at the final table, although I was there near the butt end for some fun and frivolity. But this year was a lot different. Here's how the situation plays out. The situation plays out because of Winter Olympics trivia. You may be asking, what the hell are you thinking? Talking about. Okay, so February 10th, I play CBC's The Game, a 12 question Olympic trivia thing. And I got a perfect score and I managed to beat everybody and I won a prize, a Bet Rivers package, which I will run and get. Actually, no. No, I'm not going to waste my time. So yeah, it was like a big duffel bag. It had some winter care stuff in it and like a flask, a big cup and all that. But yeah. So I won that and I won 2 tickets to a sporting event near where I live. Of course, that would be Toronto. So I didn't know what to do, what event to go to because they had to talk to every one of the 17 winners, eventual winners, one per day. So what ended up happening was that I, of course, thought about my good buddy Bill Lang to go to Toronto thing in, and of course CBC gave me the list of stuff, and then we both decided to go to a Blue Jay game. And since Bill was in Florida at the time, we needed to figure something out. Bill said late April would be the best chance. So I did and looked up the schedule. Lo and behold, April 25th, Cleveland played the Blue Jays. So we're going to get 2 tickets to that game and we're going to sit. And we actually sat pretty close. The only issue is I forgot that the 25th also was a poker thing, was the poker final table. But let's not forget that it could have been anything else. I could have been at that final table a couple ways. Now, here's the thing. I hadn't qualified for the final table and I had to go through wildcard. I could easily have lost the wildcard game and, there would be a non-issue. I wouldn't be at the final table and then, go to the Blue Jays game. And also, Bill said that there was an issue with the flight traffic controller situation in the United States. So Bill could have easily not been allowed to get back to Canada on time. If the situation was not resolved, I would have foregone the Blue Jays game for the poker tournament. So yeah, things happened. Like Bill actually could not. There was a good situation that Bill might not have been back to Canada on the 25th of April. So I would have been playing poker, and if I didn't qualify for poker, then it's a non-issue. And then the Blue Jays game, even if Bill wasn't there, I still would have been at the final tape. I would still would have been there to do my notes. But thankfully, I got my notes and I got everything going. So let's have fun with this video, I suppose. Well, of course, we start the list of the roll call of the final table with the one person who was supposed to be at the final table but didn't. And that person is yours truly, that being me, Cutter Historical, Cutter 2734 on Poker Stars. You get the drill. So, as I said in the video intro about my situation, that I actually did qualify. Like, I did compete in all six matchups. I took 8th, 13th, 11th, 9th, 6th, and 11th. So not really the best, but it got me to the wild card game, in which it was a 2 out of 5 chance to make the final table, and I was the second guy to get in through the wild card. I actually was within a hair's breadth of being eliminated twice, but somehow I hung on and got second place in the wild card thing, which actually made me happy that I qualified for the final table. Unfortunately, though, the whole situation, as I tried to describe on video, was the situation that if Bill had not been able to get back from Florida due to the whole air traffic controller issue, I would not have had a chance to go to the Blue Jay game, and I would not have had a chance to go to Toronto. So I would have been at the poker final table, but I did try to qualify. I did have inside knowledge. I knew that I screwed up with putting April 25th. But the situation is that it could have all been different. If I had not qualified through the wild card, it would not have mattered. I would have went to the Blue Jay game anyway without feeling guilty, and I would not have to give up my seat. But the fact of the matter is that it happened. I would have been at the final table. Of course, my damn luck. I probably would have been terrible. So, shots fired. All right, so now we continue on with the people who were at the final table. And first and foremost is Jimmer. Jimmer, as you can see, didn't do well. He was consistently in double digits, unfortunately. Week 1, he took 11th. If you're listening, of course, I'm going to recap, like if you're just watching the audio. Week 2, he took 15th. Week 3, 14th. Week 4 did not show up, so no score. Week 5 took 7th. Week 6 took 12th. And he was one of the 5 guys in what I call the very stacked wild card game and all that. He was wild card 1. He was the guy who won the whole thing and then got himself into it. He actually would have been 12th in no, he was 11th in chips. I was 12th in chips until my withdrawal. But the fact is that, with me gone, having to do other things, it was just unbelievable. But the fact of the matter was that, he did his best. He got to the final table at least. So, yeah, through the wild card, that's kind of the Jeff Diamond thing that almost every year there's a wild card game. I get to the final table through that. So, bad luck, but what could you do? In the 11th slot in the final table was Hockey Dad, aka Ed, including my brother. It was actually strange that Ed had never qualified for a final table before. Yeah, 6 years of trying, 6 years of falling flat, 6 years of having the younger diamond be the better diamond, if you will. Ha 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 ha. What? A lot of questions would be raised. What if I was able to play poker alongside Ed at the final table? Would I have done well? Would he have done well? Well, I don't know. But when you look at Ed's results 15, 4, 7, 12, 3, and 8, he was very consistent. He was in the top 10 4 times out of 6, which is freaking amazing and all that. I don't know how he did it, but yeah, the worst part is sometimes Ed has such a great start, but then he falls flat on his face. That's me in a nutshell, too. Like, I won't disagree with that statement. But the fact is that, I was actually shocked. I told Ed, don't disgrace the family name because that's my job. But he did. I'm like, I was so tempted to call him up and tell him off saying, what the fuck did you do? But, cooler heads prevailed, and, I'm scared of my brother. Nevertheless. But yeah, Ed did great his first time out. He at least made the final table, and he got to know the knowledge that he's better than me at poker for the first time in 7 years. Okay, next at number 10 is Wafer, aka Derek, who has had some good luck with poker in the past. And he actually did something that the other two didn't do, win a week. So on the screen, obviously, you'd be wondering, well, you put eliminations in front of him for week two being first. If you win a week, then I just give you the amount of eliminations. And he took down 5 members of the crew. Week one, he took 12, but then he won week two. Week three, he took 6, then 11, then did not play. So that means no score. And week 6, he took 9th. I'm actually a little shocked. I mean, he did okay. He did win 1 week, but 1 out of 6. But sometimes, you can't coast on winning 1 week and all that. So unfortunately for Wafer, it didn't work out for him. At number 9 is Bryber, aka Brian, who got into the tournament as wildcard 2. Of course, not the conventional way. As you can see, if you're watching this and not listening to audio, he showed up for 4 of 6 weeks. Well, the good news for Brian, in essence, and everyone else, is that your 2 worst results got eliminated. Like it was your top 4 scores, and with him being a no-show or no score, if you will, 2 out of the 6 weeks, those were his zeros. So then he got 7th, 14th, 15th, and 8th in the 4 weeks he did compete in. So that was decent. And he got it in the wildcard too. He actually took 3rd in the wildcard tournament, but because of my withdrawal due to the whole Toronto Blue Jays ticket situation. I mean, I did mention this when I talked about my spot and, on video and on audio, is that you don't turn down a massive trivia contest prize and all that for anything and all that. I know it's like my priorities were big. I mean, I won a trip using Olympics trivia, which is a higher degree of difficulty than baseball, basketball, football, and hockey trivia, to be honest with you. You have to be international based, if you will. But the simple fact is that, he got in. Like, Bry would have had his consecutive final tournament streak end if it wasn't for me. So, like, I want my fruit basket. I need a fruit basket. Because without me, he would not have qualified. But at least he scored 9. So in a sense, it gives me a sick feeling that I'm happy. I don't know why. So then comes 8th place with Clicker. I mean, when you look at the stats on the board, it's like 3 top 4 finishes, and he took 8th. I mean, how about that? Well, of course, a lot of people do better on online poker than in person, or vice versa. So Clicker, you can't blame. I mean, he did quite well. He did take 2 bad spots, 13th and 12th, which he easily got eliminated from his score because 3, 4, 5, 6 we were 4th, 2nd, 10th, and 1st. He actually in week 4 took 2nd, but he did what I call the Jeff Diamond method, getting through in a tournament without eliminating everybody. Basically, them eliminating other people. And the final week 6, he took 1st and eliminated 4 people. So in essence, that was amazing how he did that. But unfortunately, though, it didn't translate to the in-person tournament. But what can you do? Okay, and then taking 7th place was Sorbs. Sorbs actually did quite well. He bookended quite well. In week 1, he got 5 eliminations. And I didn't mention that when you win a tournament, you get like a double elimination. Like you eliminate the person second, but you also get an elimination for being the winner. So you kind of eliminate yourself from trouble. Haha. So for example, Sorbs eliminated 4 people, but then got credited with his self-elimination. So that's 5. So he took out 5 people, and he was the leader after week 1. But some middling results: 8th, 12th, 6th, and 11th. Kind of worried him. And then week 6, he took 3rd, which wasn't half bad. I mean, you bookend yourself. And Sorbs did a good job, although 7th place is not really what he should have been at. Now, this guy, sixth place rhythms. Like you look at the stats on the screen. Of course, if you're listening by audio, I'll tell you. But if you look at the screen, how the frig can this guy take finishes of five top five finishes out of six? Well, of course, he no scored week 5. How do you do that and you don't take top 3 on the final table, especially when you're a champion, a two-time champ? I think he's a two-time. I think he's a two-timer. Is he not? But I mean, I look at this stat, and you're going to look at this stat, and it's like, how can a guy who took second in week 1 with 5 eliminations, took a third, 1 week 4 with 5 eliminations, no score, and then fourth place? Does this guy not take top 3 at the very least? Well, the cards are there. Live cards are a lot different than online cards, but still, this guy should have been doing quite well. And this is me talking. Usually, how petty I seem to be. This guy should have done better. I wish he did better. Why I'm saying that, I don't know. So in fifth place was Dwayne, aka number one Newfoundlander. I don't think I got the name right, but in essence, it's big. So you look at his results: third, 11th, 10th, third, no score, and second with a pair of eliminations. That's still pretty good. I mean, 3 top 3 finishes out of 6. His 10th, his one no score in his 11th place was written off. So yeah, he had the momentum, and 5th place isn't half bad. I mean, could have had more top 3 finishes and all that. That would have made him a massive favorite. But the simple fact is that he played his cards right and did quite well. In 4th place was Baden Poker, aka Dan. So 3 double-digit finishes in weeks 1, 2, and 4, 14, 10, and 10. He eliminated his first 2 weeks scores because, it's the top 4 out of 6. And then he did quite well otherwise. Week 3, after 2 terrible starts, he actually put up a massive win. He took out 5 people, including himself, obviously, because, that's what PokerStars does. So 6 eliminations. That's pretty good. Week 4, he took 10th. Week 5, he took out my brother. That was the only elimination he did. And week 6, he took 5th. So he did quite well for himself. And the 4th place, I think, was well deserved. I mean, he only had 3 top 5 finishes, but he did win 1 week. And, he played his heart out. And I think that was pretty good. At number 3 was a landmark finish. I believe this is the first time a female actually qualified for the top 3. Krista did quite well if you look at the stats. 9th, 2nd with 2 eliminations, 5th, 4th, 5th, 10th. So she was consistently in the top 5. That's pretty good. I mean, her 9th and 10th, she actually could, like the bookends, she could erase because it was the top 4 results out of 6. So that worked out for her. And she must have kicked butt. Obviously, I don't know who eliminated who because I didn't get those stats. But it doesn't matter, does it? So anyway, she pulled it off and she made a massive landmark for female players. I think. I have a funny feeling I'm probably wrong. But, I didn't want to go back to my old stuff and look at it and basically look at things because I have bad memory sometimes. So yeah, she pulled it off. And, maybe she did it in tribute of Donnie Rodden, aka, Don, who passed away a couple weeks after being in the final table last year. So thankfully, I didn't have to do a tribute video and all that. So, that would have broken me heart. So yeah, she did well. And the runner-up in the tournament had these stats. So Master of Keys, aka Mike, when you look at the screen, well, if you're listening by audio, you're not going to listen. But yeah, if you look at the screen, you see the numbers. Those are cutter numbers, if you will, like the 7s, the 8s, the 10s. That's Jeff Diamond's style. But week 5, he eliminated 2 people plus himself, obviously, for 3. So week 5, he won. He needed to kind of win that to stay out of being inconsistent, if you will. But yeah, he had a lot going for him. He is the commissioner. Yeah, he is the commissioner and all that. Of course, with his job elsewhere, he couldn't really do everything he wanted to do. So he had to employ Rhythms and Hockey Dad to help him out. But yeah, I think he did quite well, and he had some guidance and all that. He had an extra push because of the fact that his dad passed away. I know that in fact because I was at the visitation and I got to see his two kids again, his two kind of successful kids and all that. One has a sports job that I really want, but that is without saying that, maybe I wouldn't have time to do YouTube videos and all that if it wasn't for that. But nevertheless, so he was doing it in honor of his dad and he almost pulled off the win. He almost got an inspired first place. I just wish he did, in all essence. And here is your winner and all that. I know by the tone of my voice I sound bitter. I am bitter. He needs to give me a fruit basket because he and I have a massive rivalry online and in person rivalry. I think if I was there, I could have stopped him from winning. I mean, I would not have eliminated him, but I would have stopped him from winning because uh, what was it? 2 years ago when I had that magical run for third place, he tried to eliminate me like 5 or 6 times, but I was the freaking cockroach of the group of the final table. I don't know who we've been the cockroach of the group. Like you can keep him or her down. Probably Krista, but that's from my notes. But yeah, I Hate Humans won. He didn't finish in double digits. He got his ninth and his seventh place erased, of course, top four spot. He didn't win. Well, he was second in week 3 with 4. So 4th, 5th, 2nd, 7th, 9th, 6th. Consistency is the key. Yeah, I mean, all 6 weeks he got different numbers. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. That's pretty good. But his magic numbers must have helped him out. And somehow and all that. Yeah, I Hate Humans. More like I Hate Cutter. I'll be expecting a lot of vitriol after this, but meh, what can you do? I just piss people off the wrong way. I'm known for that. But anyway, congratulations to Ryan. I mean, yeah, give him a clap. I could have given him a sarcastic clap and all that, but he won. I lost. Everyone. Give him a prize. Give him the prize. But anyway, congratulations, Ryan. You are the champ, and you better defend that cup with vitriol because we're coming for you. I almost did the Booker T promo. If you're a wrestling fan, you know damn well what I mean. The WCW promo about Hulk Hogan. But I pulled off stuff at the last moment. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.